I'm Jasmine Jimenez, 28, fresh out of community college with dreams bigger than this dusty route. That afternoon, everything felt charged, the pressure from him, the urgency of the job hunt. Little did I know this ride was no accident. It was the start of a twisted test that would expose lies, shatter trust, and drag me into a family drama straight out of a corporate thriller. Would my one impulsive choice cost me everything, or reveal the monsters behind the masks? Stick around, the twists get wilder, from a shocking disguise to a betrayal that hits like a punch. You won't believe how it ends. If you've ever faced a sneaky kindness trap or family secrets exploding at work, hit like and subscribe for more real-life drama stories that expose the truth behind perfect facades. That morning started with high hopes. I snapped awake to the insistent beeping of my alarm at 6:30 a.m., the digital numbers glowing in the dim light of my apartment bedroom. Swinging my legs over the side of the bed, I took a deep breath, mentally mapping out the hours ahead. This was it, the day that could pivot my career. Heading to the bathroom, I splashed cold water on my face to shake off any lingering drowsiness, then brushed my teeth with methodical strokes, staring at my reflection to build resolve. Dressed in a robe, I moved to the kitchen where I prepared a nutritious breakfast. Scrambled eggs with spinach and toast, paired with a mug of black coffee. Eating slowly at the counter, I reviewed my mental checklist. Preparation had been ongoing for days, but today demanded perfection. After breakfast, I cleared the dishes and set up my workspace on the dining table, spreading out materials. First, vocal practice. Standing in front of the full-length mirror, I articulated responses to behavioral questions. Describe a challenge you overcame. My reply: during an internship, I managed a crop yield project under budget constraints by optimizing resources, resulting in a 15% efficiency gain. I timed myself, ensuring concise delivery. Next, technical knowledge. I quizzed myself on agribusiness terms like GMO regulations and soil pH impacts, flipping through notes from my classes. By 8:30 a.m. outfit time, I laid out options, settling on a tailored gray suit jacket over the blouse for a polished edge. Trying it on, I adjusted the collar, checked for lint, and practiced sitting and standing to ensure comfort. Accessories: minimal, simple earrings, watch. I rehearsed my introduction. Hello, I'm Jasmine Jimenez, excited for this opportunity. Packing my briefcase, I included pens, a charger, mints for fresh breath. A final mirror check at 9:45 a.m., hair smooth, makeup, subtle posture, straight. Heart fluttering with anticipation, I thought of the potential stable income, professional growth in a field I loved. Stepping out, the cool air hit me as I walked 6 blocks to the bus interchange. The streets were alive with morning traffic horns honking sporadically. At the hub, I confirmed the timetable on the digital board. The farmland line departed at 11:00 a.m. With time, I grabbed a banana from a vendor for energy. The bus arrived promptly, doors hissing open. I scanned my pass and chose a seat halfway back next to a window. The cabin was half full. A man in a cowboy hat reading a newspaper, a woman with groceries, 2 teens chatting animatedly. As we pulled away, the engine's rumble soothed my nerves initially. Urban buildings faded, replaced by rolling hills and orchards, the scenery shifting to agricultural heartland. I used the ride to meditate, closing my eyes for deep breaths, visualizing positive outcomes. Opening them, I noted the time, 11:45 a.m. on schedule. At a quiet stop beside a red barn around 12:15 p.m., the woman entered. Her presence was immediate: stooped posture, clothing a patchwork of faded fabrics, a wool coat with missing buttons, dress, hem unraveling stockings with runs, feet in worn loafers, hair unkempt under a scarf, face etched with lines of endurance, hands knobby from labor. She paused at the fare box, emptying pockets of crumpled bills and change that totaled far short. "Sir, it's all I have," she said, voice frail but dignified. The driver, leaning back, replied, $20 exact or I can't let you on. Next bus in 2 hours." Whispers rippled through the bus. The cowboy hat man folded his paper louder. I felt a pull weighing options. Time was precious. Any holdup could snowball. But her situation stirred empathy, imagining her walking miles in that condition. Unable to ignore it, I rose. "Wait, I'll cover the 20. I stated, pulling the note from my purse and handing it over. The driver shrugged, stamping the ticket. She took it, then looked at me with teary gratitude. "You're a lifesaver. May good come back to you tenfold." She eased into the seat opposite mine, bag on lap. "I'm Ethel," she offered. "Heading to pick up medicine. Bus fares keep rising and my check doesn't stretch." "Jasmine," I responded. "No problem at all." But inside the storm began. This gesture, though small, risked my timeline. The clock now read 12:20 p.m., 5 minutes lost already if we lingered. My mind raced through consequences, arriving disheveled, first impression tarnished. The job market was brutal. One lapse could mean another rejection email. Yet the warmth from her smile countered that. Kindness had shaped my life, neighbors aiding my family during tough seasons. Ignoring Ethel would have left a bitter taste. Still, pressure from expectations clawed at me. My boyfriend often stressed discipline. Would he approve? Doubt layered on. Was I too soft for corporate life? Our conversation flowed. Ethel spoke of her past on a family farm, lost to debt, now surviving in a trailer. "Big companies buy up everything, leave little guys behind," she said. I shared lightly about my interest in ag tech to help small operations, but thoughts drifted to self-reproach. By 1 p.m., anxiety-crested traffic spots ahead could exacerbate the issue. The internal battle intensified compassion as a core value versus the necessity of self-preservation. Examples flooded past: jobs lost to minor errors, friends advancing through ruthlessness. Helping felt authentic, but ambitious goals demanded sacrifice. As the bus chugged forward, I gripped my bag tighter, the conflict unresolved, pushing me to question my priorities in this high-stakes game. Nearing the office area at 2:40 p.m., I prepared to disembark, the emotional weight heavy, but the decision irreversible. The doors hissed open at last. I stepped off into the late afternoon sun, the asphalt warm under my heels as I hurried toward the sleek glass building marked with the company logo, Midwest Agritech Solutions. The clock on my phone flashed 2:55 p.m., 15 minutes past the scheduled start. My pulse quickened. Lateness was unforgivable in this industry where precision dictated harvests and deals. Adjusting my jacket, I pushed through the revolving doors into the air-conditioned lobby, the scent of fresh coffee mingling with polished marble. At the reception desk, a young assistant glanced up from her screen. "Name and appointment?" she asked crisply. "Jasmine Jimenez for the analyst interview at 2:40. I replied, forcing a steady tone. She typed briefly, then nodded. "They're expecting you in conference room B. Elevator to the 3rd floor left down the hall." "Thank you," I said, moving swiftly to the elevators. The ride up felt eternal, each ding amplifying my unease. Emerging, I turned left into a corridor lined with framed photos of vast cornfields and innovative machinery, the walls echoing my footsteps. Before reaching the room, a figure emerged from a side office, tall, broad-shouldered, in a sharp navy suit. His dark hair was neatly combed, eyes narrowing as they locked on me. It was my boyfriend Anthony Mendoza, the one who'd pushed me to apply here through his connections. "You're late," he snapped, voice low but slicing like a blade. He grabbed my arm lightly, steering me into a quiet alcove away from passing staff. "I know the bus got delayed in traffic," I explained, trying to keep composure. "There were roadworks near the orchards." Anthony's jaw tightened, his grip firming before releasing. "Traffic. That's your excuse. This isn't some casual meetup, Jasmine. This is Midwest Agritech, my family's legacy. They expect punctuality, not stories about public transport mishaps." His words stung, heat rising to my cheeks. We'd been dating for 8 months, bonded over shared ambitions in agriculture, but this side of him surfaced under stress. I did everything to prepare, I countered. Outfit notes, even vocal drills. One delay doesn't erase that. He leaned closer, eyes flashing. It's not just the delay. I saw you from the window paying for that old woman's fare. What were you thinking? Handing out money like candy. That's weakness pure and simple. In this business, kindness gets exploited. Farmers lose land because they trust too easily. Companies fail from soft decisions. I recoiled, surprise mixing with hurt. She needed help, Anthony. It was $20, hardly a fortune. Ignoring her would have been cruel. Cruel reality is cruel, he retorted, voice rising slightly before he checked himself. My mother built this from nothing, fighting banks and competitors. She taught us show vulnerability, and you're done. That act on the bus, it screams naivety. If HR hears, they'll question your judgment for high-stakes roles. The accusation hit deep, tension coiling in my chest. Our relationship had moments like this, his intensity clashing with my empathy, but never so raw. So, helping someone makes me unfit. That's not the man I know, I whispered, voice trembling. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration evident. The man you know wants you to succeed here, but actions like that? They undermine everything. Fix your mindset before going in there. Footsteps approached, a colleague nodding as he passed. Anthony straightened, masking his ire with a professional smile. We'll talk later, just don't blow this. I nodded numbly, the emotional rift widening. As he walked away, I lingered in the hall, gathering breath. The confrontation left me shaken, doubts seeding about our dynamic. Was his protectiveness love or control? Pushing it aside, I smoothed my hair and approached the conference door, knocking softly. Inside, the panel waited, but the initial strain lingered like a shadow. Throughout the preliminary questions on resume points, my responses felt mechanical, Anthony's words echoing. When asked about teamwork, I cited a group project, but inwardly questioned if empathy truly weakened resolve. The session dragged, my lateness addressed politely by the lead interviewer. We understand transit issues in rural routes, he said, but his tone hinted scrutiny. I elaborated on skills in data analysis for crop optimization, drawing from internships, yet the earlier clash sapped confidence. Back in the hall post-segment, Anthony reappeared, expression softer, but still edged. How'd it go? He asked. Fine, considering. I replied curtly, the tension palpable. He sighed. Look, I was harsh. But it's for your good. This company rewards strength, not sentiment. His apology felt half-hearted, fueling inner turmoil. Our bond, once supportive, now cracked under professional pressure. As I waited for the next phase, the hallway felt confining, the air thick with unspoken conflicts. The assistant led me in shortly after. Entering the executive office, sunlight streamed through large windows overlooking manicured lawns dotted with prototype irrigation systems. Behind a mahogany desk sat a poised woman in her late 50s, silver-streaked hair in an elegant bun, attire, a crisp blazer over silk blouse, professional yet commanding. Ms. Jimenez, I'm Alexandra Soto, HR Director and owner. She introduced, extending a manicured hand. Pleasure to meet you, Ms. Soto, I said, shaking firmly while settling into the leather chair opposite. She smiled warmly, gesturing to a file on her desk. Let's dive in. Your application shows promise, community college honors, practical experience in soil tech. But tell me about yourself beyond the paper. I launched into my background growing up in a migrant worker family, passion for sustainable farming, sparked by childhood Field's drive to innovate for underserved communities. Alexandra nodded attentively, jotting notes. Midway, her pen paused. Something familiar nagged the way her scarf draped, echoing the one Ethel wore, though upscale. Dismissing it, I continued on leadership examples. Then she leaned back. Impressive. But interviews here go deeper. We value character in our family-run operation. Her words prompted a scan on her desk. A bus ticket stub peeked from under papers identical to the one stamped earlier, route number matching. My breath caught. Coincidence. Probing further, I noticed her earrings, simple pearls like Ethel's, but polished. And the faint scent of lavender, same as the bus encounter. Heart-racing pieces clicked, the stoop-gone makeup concealing lines but eyes the same piercing blue. Before I could voice it, Alexandra spoke. "You passed the moment you were on that bus." The statement landed like a thunderclap. Panic surged, pulse-hammering palms clammy. "What do you mean?" I stammered, voice barely steady. She chuckled softly. "The elderly woman, that was me in disguise. A test of compassion amid pressure. You chose kindness, paying the fare despite the risk to your schedule." Shock rippled through me, mind reeling. The raggedy coat, frail voice, all staged betrayal, twisted in my gut. What seemed genuine now felt manipulative. "You spied on me, pretended to need help." "Not spying," she clarified. "Evaluating. In agribusiness, we deal with real struggles, farmers in debt, workers in need. We seek employees who balance empathy with drive. Your actions showed that." But doubt flooded. Was this ethical panic, escalated thoughts fracturing Anthony's warning about perfection, now tied to this scheme? Did he know suspicion brewed? His earlier scolding perhaps part of the act? I shifted uncomfortably. It felt real. I agonized over the delay, thinking it might cost the job. Alexandra's expression softened. "That's the point, real choices under stress. Many ignore. You didn't. It aligns with our values here at Midwest Agritech." Yet the revelation unsettled deeply. Memories replayed her teary thanks, farm stories, lies to probe, nausea rose, trust violated in a process meant to build it. Pressing on, she detailed the role, analyzing market trends for seed tech, collaborating on family strategies. But my focus wavered, suspicion layering. Why disguise hidden motives in this family dynamic? As discussion turned to salary and benefits, I feigned interest, but inner alarm blared. The ticket stub glared accusatorily. Ethel's worn loafers now replaced by heels. Panic morphed to wariness. What else was fabricated? By session's end, Alexandra stood. "We're impressed. Next steps soon." Exiting doubts churned. This test exposed more than character, it hinted at deeper deceptions. We returned to the conference room moments later. Alexandra gestured for me to sit, her demeanor shifting to one of calculated revelation. "Now that the preliminaries are out, let's address the elephant in the room." She began, clasping her hands on the table. I leaned forward, adrenaline still coursing. "You mean the bus incident? If that was you, Ethel, or whatever your real name is, then explain. Fully." She nodded, unflinching. "Yes, it was me. The disguise was meticulous: thrift store clothes, makeup for wrinkles, even a voice modulator app on my phone for that frail tone. I boarded at that remote stop to simulate a vulnerable stranger, testing if you'd prioritize humanity over self-interest." The confirmation slammed into me, twisting my stomach. This wasn't just a hint. It was outright deception engineered at the highest level. A personality test for an analyst job that sounds more like manipulation than evaluation. Alexandra leaned back, her voice steady and professorial. "In our family, company positions aren't just about skills. Midwest Agritech thrives on trust and integrity. We've lost deals to rivals who exploit weaknesses, seen employees leak secrets for personal gain. This test weeds out those who lack empathy, crucial for roles involving farmer relations, or those too rigid to adapt. Last year, a candidate ignored a similar setup. We passed on him, and he later joined a competitor, poaching our clients." Her explanation unfolded like a corporate manifesto, detailing past implementations, staging flat tires for mechanics, fake customer complaints for sales reps. "It's not random cruelty," she insisted. "It's about revealing true character under pressure. Your choice to pay showed balance, compassion, without derailing your goal entirely." Anthony, who'd slipped in quietly during her speech, chimed in from the corner. Mom's right, Jasmine. This isn't new. It's how we built the business. Remember that story I told about Dad's early days? He tested suppliers the same way, ensuring loyalty. If we hired blindly, we'd be bankrupt by now. His defense graded loyalty to family overriding our connection. So you knew? I shot back, turning to him. All that lecturing in the hall about weakness, was that part of the script too? He hesitated, then met my gaze. Not entirely. I was briefed on the setup, yes, but my reaction was genuine concern. Kindness is fine in theory, but in agribusiness it can backfire. Farms fail from bad loans given out of pity. We need people who think strategically. Mom's method works. Our retention rate is 95% because we hire the right fit. I stood pacing the room to channel the rising anger. Strategic. This feels like a game, treating applicants like lab rats. What about consent? I poured my heart into preparing, only to be tricked into proving I'm worthy. It's unethical, Anthony. And you justifying it makes me question everything about us. Alexandra interjected, tone conciliatory. Ethics evolve in competitive fields. We comply with labor laws, no recordings without permission, no personal data misuse. Think of it as immersive interviewing, like simulations in tech firms. Your pass means we see potential. Others have walked away, but those who stay excel. But her words fueled my rebuttal. Immersive. It's invasive. You fabricated a sob story about farm debt to tug at my strings. How do I know the job description isn't exaggerated too? Or that family values here aren't just a facade for control? Anthony stepped closer, voice softening. Babe, don't overreact. Mom's protected us through recessions mergers. This test saved us from hiring a fraudster once he failed by haggling the beggar down. It's for the greater good, including yours if you join. The term babe felt patronizing now, igniting deeper confrontation. Greater good? This erodes trust from day one. If you'd been upfront, maybe I'd respect it. But lying to gauge reactions, that's not building a team. It's breeding paranoia. And you defending her blindly. Does family always come first, even over honesty in our relationship? He crossed his arms, defensive. Family built this. It's my duty. But I care about you too. That's why I recommended you. See it as a compliment. You succeeded where others didn't. I stopped pacing, facing them both. Compliment? It feels like violation. What if I hadn't paid? Would you have ghosted me, or worse, used it against me personally? Alexandra sighed, glancing at her son. We'd have discussed alternatives, perhaps a different role. But speculation aside, your integrity shone. Let's focus on that. Yet the dialogue circled my questions, probing their rationale while they parried with justifications rooted in business survival. The room grew charged, revelations peeling back layers of their operation, forcing me to weigh admiration for their savvy against disgust at the deceit. As the exchange intensified, I realized this twist wasn't just about the job. It redefined my view of Anthony and his world. A knock interrupted the standoff. The door swung open, revealing a woman in her early 30s, clad in a fitted pantsuit with a tablet clutched under her arm. Her features mirrored Anthony's sharp cheekbones, intense gaze, but softened by long, wavy hair. Sorry to barge in, she said, striding forward. I heard voices. Kelsey Solis, Anthony's sister and VP of Operations. I eyed her warily as she took a seat beside Alexandra, the family circle closing in. Jasmine Jimenez. I replied, though the introduction felt superfluous amid the chaos. Kelsey glanced at the group, assessing. Mom filled me in on the test results. Congrats on passing, it's not easy. Her tone carried a mix of professionalism and familiarity, as if this were routine boardroom banter. Before I could respond, she continued. I was in on it from the start, scouted the bus route, picked the disguise elements to make it believable, even timed the stop to maximize pressure on your schedule. We needed to see if you'd crack under real-world constraints. The admission fueled my indignation, another layer of complicity unveiled. You helped orchestrate this. Why? What gives your family the right to play God with people's lives? She set her tablet down, leaning in. It's not playing God, it's survival strategy. As operations lead, I've seen hires flop because they couldn't handle the gray areas. One guy we tested folded at a minor ethical dilemma later. He mishandled a supplier contract costing us thousands. My role was logistics, ensuring the scenario aligned with company needs. Anthony nodded in agreement, but I cut in. This isn't about logistics. It's about fake family values. You tout integrity and trust, yet pull stunts like this. How is deceiving applicants family-oriented? It reeks of hypocrisy. Kelsey raised an eyebrow. Hypocrisy. In American agribusiness, family-run firms like ours face cutthroat competition. Big corps like Monsanto swallow small players daily. We've dodged buyouts by being smarter, vetting deeply. Our values keep us afloat. Loyalty tested up front prevents betrayals down the line. I countered sharply. Smarter or more controlling, pretending unity while manipulating outsiders exposes the facade. True family values mean transparency, not traps. Your test undermines the empathy you claim to prize. Alexandra interjected. Kelsey's right. Pressures are immense. Volatile commodity prices, climate shifts hitting Midwest yields regulations, strangling profits. We've laid off kin during downturns, harsh but necessary. This method ensures hires bolster our core, not weaken it. But I pressed on, directing at Kelsey. As sister and VP, you enable this. Does it bother you fabricating distress to probe strangers in U.S.? Farming families struggle with debt foreclosures. Real issues, not props for your games. She paused, then responded evenly. It does weigh sometimes, but consider the alternative: blind hires leading to internal sabotage. Last season, a rival planted a mole. We caught it via similar scrutiny. Ag pressure is brutal. Subsidies favor giants, leaving us scrambling. Our complicity protects the legacy Dad left. Anthony added. Sis has streamlined ops, cutting waste by 20%. Her input on tests refines them for fairness. Fairness? I scoffed. Where's fairness in unequal power? Applicants like me juggle bills while you script ploys from ivory towers. This family prioritizes profit over people, mirroring America's ag woes: consolidation, crushing independence, workers exploited for margins. Kelsey leaned forward, engaging directly. You're idealizing. I've toured bankrupt farms owners too, trusting signing bad deals. Our approach teaches resilience. If you join, you'd see we donate to co-ops, advocate for fair trade. But survival demands vigilance. I shook my head. Vigilance or paranoia? Your fake unity hides dysfunction. Siblings colluding on deceit. What does that say about bonds? In real families, support builds naturally, not through trials, she countered. Our bonds are steel-forged from crises. Anthony and I clashed growing up, but business united us. This test, its extension of that family, safeguarding family. By alienating potentials, I challenged. U.S. agribusiness glorifies family farms, but stats show decline: 97% corporate-controlled now. Your methods perpetuate that, favoring insiders over merit. Alexandra sighed. Harsh critique, but we've adapted. Kelsey's innovations like AI yield predictors keep us competitive. Kelsey nodded. Exactly. I coordinated the test to integrate with our culture. Your reaction shows spine. We need that against lobbyists pushing GMO bans or tariff hikes. I pivoted. Culture of illusion. Pretend poverty to test kindness, then preach strength. It's gaslighting, eroding authentic connections. How many quit post-reveal seeing the charade? She admitted. A few, but most appreciate the rigor. In America's pressured market with droughts and trade wars, we can't afford soft spots. The debate deepened my points, dissecting their rationale family as brand versus reality ag stresses, amplifying ethical shortcuts. Examples poured out corporate mergers displacing workers' subsidies skewed to elites. Kelsey defended robustly, citing efficiencies, but cracks showed in her measured responses. As arguments flowed, the room hummed with tension, my voice amplifying against their unified front. Yet seeds of doubt planted questioning if their family was fortress or prison. Tensions peaked right then. I slammed my hand on the table, the sound echoing through the conference room. Enough. I reject the offer. This isn't a company I want to join. It's a web of deceit masquerading as opportunity. Anthony's face paled. Jasmine, wait. We can work this out. You're overreacting to a standard procedure. Standard? It's toxic, I fired back. And us? We're done. I can't be with someone who hides behind family excuses to justify lies. Your loyalty to them blinds you to basic decency. He reached out, but I stepped back. Babe, please. Don't call me that, I snapped. You've chosen your side. Alexandra rose, her expression stern as she turned to her son. Anthony, you've mishandled this badly. Your involvement skewed the test. It was meant to be impartial. Consider yourself demoted to junior analyst until we review this mess. No more influencing hires. Kelsey's eyes widened, but she stayed silent. Anthony protested. Mom, that's unfair. I was protecting the business. Protecting you compromised it, Alexandra retorted. Go cool off. I grabbed my bag, resolve hardening. I'm leaving. This ends now. As I stormed out, the building's sterile halls blurred in my vision. Outside, the Kansas City suburbs felt liberating, the farmland horizon a reminder of simpler roots. No regrets, freedom outweighed any job. Weeks later, the fallout escalated. I filed a complaint with the EEOC citing discriminatory hiring practices. The test targeted empathy in a way that could bias against certain backgrounds, violating Title VII. Investigators dug in, uncovering patterns in their character assessments that favored insiders. The scandal broke internally first. Whispers of favoritism led to a board inquiry. Anthony's role in multiple tests surfaced, including conflicts of interest. He was fired outright, his reputation tarnished in the tight-knit ag community. Job offers dried up, forcing him to relocate for menial work. Alexandra faced the brunt. EEOC ruled in my favor, slapping Midwest Agritech with a $50,000 fine for unlawful screening methods. Media picked it up. Local outlets ran stories on deceptive interviews in family firms, eroding client trust. Contracts canceled, stock dipped 15%, and her standing at industry conferences plummeted. Kelsey stepped up as interim lead, but the damage lingered, with lawsuits from other applicants piling on. Through it all, I reflected deeply. That bus act of kindness wasn't a weakness. It sparked this unraveling, exposing rot. But it taught vigilance in America's cutthroat workplaces. Goodwill can be weaponized. Kindness is strength, but don't let it be exploited in manipulative environments. Thanks for sticking through this wild tale to the end. If it resonates, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you faced similar tests? Let's discuss.